on the inability of the local government ministry to direct the Electoral Commission to conduct the municipal assembly elections, which have been on suspension since December 2010, the chiefs and people of Odumase in the Lower Manyakrobo municipality of the Eastern region have decided to break away from the rest of the country. According to the chiefs and people, they will no longer pay taxes and levies constituting internally generated funds to the district assembly. Joining us by telephone is Baba Jamal. He is Deputy Local Government Minister. Hello, Baba.
Hello, my sister.
Thanks for your time this afternoon. But what does government make of these threats from the chiefs and people of Lower Manyakrobo?
Yes, in the first place, let me say that it is important for all of us to understand that this country is governed by rules and regulations. You are free to demonstrate. You are free to express your dissatisfaction. You are free to hold press conferences and tell the public what you don't agree with. But when you go beyond that to the level of collecting taxes, declaring self-government and all those things are beyond individual rights, and you'll be confronting the law in this respect. I want to commend the people of Lower Manya and the chiefs and people of Lower Manya so far for their tolerance. This situation has been on for some time, for their tolerance and endurance of this situation. I also want to believe that our engagement with them has been very open. They are aware that the government has taken initiative to get this situation rectified. Letters have been written to the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission has also raised the budget. We are in the process of making sure that the right things are done there. So as much as I agree with their grievances and the problem they are going through, they also know that after what ensued after the elections, they already know that the situation was not occasioned by government. There was a border dispute as a result of the boundary demarcation that went to court and took some time. And then also after the election, they all know what has gone on in the courts and all those things that has really affected the administration of this country. So we have got to a point where everything has been settled and the process has already started. So to go beyond that and say we are declaring self-government, we will be going beyond bounds and also confronting the law, and I don't think that it is the right thing to do now.
Yeah, but perhaps they want to act so because the situation has been like this since December 2010, nearly 3 years ago, and they haven't seen any action being taken. How soon will the elections be held?
As I've already informed you, the process has already started. We are engaging the Electoral Commission. We are engaging the people on the ground. You know that this area is particularly delicate because of the boundary matters that involve the place. So we need to take our time and do things the right way. So we'll continue to engage the people. I can assure you that sooner than later, this problem will be over and the Manyakrobo will have its own executive order, will have its own assembly. But let me make this point clear. That place is not in a vacuum. By law, the law of this country anticipated such a situation. So it has provided that where there is no such a constituted assembly, the president can form an interim committee to take care of the place. That interim committee is in place. All projects and activities and developmental projects are ongoing. The assembly has the full complement of its officers. It has the coordinating director, it has the finance officer, the budget of everybody that is supposed to be in place is in place. So it's not as if the place has been left in a vacuum. But it's just that I must say, and like I said, I agree with them that when you have a constituted assembly, it's better. But for them to go beyond the assembly and say we're going to take tolls and whatnot, will not be the best. Will not be in the best interest of the country, and in fact they themselves. So what I would really enjoin them to do is that to continue the engagement that we are on, to let us all sit down and find the best way of handling this situation, sooner than later, this election will be held, and we will all go back to our normal duties.
I see. They intend not to pay taxes and levies. And I'm wondering, does government intend to do anything about this?
I will first send my appeal to the people, chiefs and people of Lower Manya, not to attempt to do anything like that, because that will surely be confrontational to the laws and regulations of this country. So I want to appeal to them to know that to continue the engagement that we are on now, we have an assembly. The assembly officers are there. Whatever tools that are collected can be accounted for properly. So anytime these elections are held, all those things can be properly accounted for. But if they go beyond the assembly and say, well, who is going to take the tolls, who is going to be in charge, they are going to derail the development of that area. So I will appeal to them. We'll continue to engage with them. But beyond peaceful, we want to use diplomatic means to resolve this matter as much as possible. We want to use peaceful means to resolve it. But beyond the peaceful means, of course, the law will take its course. But for now, we want to appeal to them not to embark on any confrontational paths with the government and the law enforcement agencies, but to continue to show their dissatisfaction. We will continue to engage them until this problem is amicably resolved.
But you do know that they gave an ultimatum to the end of the Mayin Festival, which is not far from now. And so I'm just wondering, has government got in touch with the chiefs and people of Lower Manya Krobo?
We have already gotten in touch with them.
Since this ultimatum, I mean?
Yes, of course. Through the regional coordinating council. The regional minister, Honorable Intosu, and her team has been in touch with the people on the ground. The regional security council has also been in touch with the people on the ground. They've met and reviewed the situation in there. As far as we are concerned, calm. The place is calm. The people
they are willing to back down?
No. Surely that will not be in their interest. So I am very sure that they will not attempt to do anything like that. Because surely you cannot say that because we don't have an assembly, and we don't have a constituted assembly.
Baba, what I meant was, Baba, quickly, what I meant was, in your interaction with the chiefs and people of Lower Manya Krobo, after they've given the ultimatum, does it look as though they will rescind the decision they want to take?
As much as I know, and it is a well-known fact in this country, that the Krobo people and the Krobo area is one of the peaceful areas that we have in this country. So surely I don't want to believe that under these circumstances they would want to do something that will jeopardize the peace there. But as far as the briefing we have from the regional office is that they are engaging the people, right, and surely we'll be able to resolve this matter amicably. And
don't go yet, not yet. Let's listen to this video.
I'm not going. I'm still here for you. Don't worry.
And I'm totally grateful. But there's a sound bite I want us to listen to from the Lower Manya Krobo district. Let's take a listen.
Which is assembly election in Lower Manya. But when these people, the term of office has got ended, we're supposed to have it. But due to some problem, we did not have it until we have a problem between we and then non-litigation problem. So after solving the problem, the MCU had to take it on so that we can have the assembly election. And we don't know the reason why he refused for us to have the assembly election. As of now, we don't have assembly election. And we know that every 4 years, the MCU to have to be changed. As of now, he's still in office. Because he don't want us to have assemblymen so that he alone can control. And if you look at the Lower Manya to the developmental program, it's a very serious thing. When you go to the villages, Master, you care for them. When you go, you can walk in our road. You can go to your communities, other places, and you ask them. The MCs is not competing with the chiefs. When you interview the chiefs, they tell you opportunity to have the assembly election. And the MC too, he should change it for rest. Because the MC did not work with the community, with the chiefs. And we know that without the chiefs all the development we not had it in Lower Manya.
Don't give up your this thing, your toast and don't pay your tax. Yeah, don't pay your taxes. We have given on what a deadline. They say up to the end of October, please, in court. Take us right. If nothing or the assembly election has not been held, we will advise ourselves accordingly. We know the plans which are underway, and we will tell you in due course. Ladies and gentlemen, to be helping us to say, oh, let us have assembly. He'll be going on air saying that he is still remain in office, so and so, going on air, doing all sorts of things, so and so. Please, let us advise ourselves. We are all grown-up persons. We are not kids. We are not what? Kids. Assembly election, DC Munwe Bahamlonge. Say, one of the Pujo. Say, so to an money, I say, you can't say it. Just say, you pay assembly money.
Right, so Baba, you had the young man. I wanted to tackle the issue of the MCE. The people of Lower Manya Krobo are not enthused by at all. You told me earlier that really there's still an interim committee that takes care of issues of Lower Manya Krobo district, but they are not happy with this group, I suppose.
My sister, I agree with them entirely on the demands that they are making. They want to have an assembly. They want to have properly constituted a group to manage the assembly. I have no problem with that at all. But when it comes to MCE matter, they will not decide who becomes a DCE or MCE. That is for the president to decide who becomes and the assembly to endorse if they so wish. So that issue will not get into that now. We are now looking at the election that is supposed to be held and the constituting the assembly, which process we have already started.
They also claim the inability of the MCE, the incumbent, to work hand in hand with the chiefs and people of the district has caused the lack of development in Lower Manya Krobo.
As for that, they are just saying what they say. When we properly go into the cases, the truth of that will come out. We don't want to meddle those issues with what is happening now. They have a legitimate cause, and I advise them to stay on that legitimate path, that they need an assembly. And that is true, and they should have it. But we shouldn't go into the election and then issues of MC, who becomes MC. That is a different matter altogether. So please, for now, let's limit ourselves to having the elections done, having the assembly constituted, and then beyond that, we'll look at who becomes MC or DC. For now, let the interim committee that is in place continue with its work until we have the election, which we are going to have very, very soon, so that we can have our pay.
Many thanks for your thoughts, Baba. Baba Jamal is Deputy Local Government Minister. Let's now talk Hajj. And although this year's organization of the pilgrimage has gone smoothly, there are serious and sanitary concerns at the Hajj village here in Accra. Over 1,000 Muslims waiting at the Hajj village to catch a flight to Saudi Arabia are battling with limited facilities and unhygienic conditions. My colleague Emmanuel Ante was at the Hajj village earlier and he brought in this report.
People are sitting and sleeping around refuse, and this is very, very, very serious because it can cause an epidemic. Water is a problem here. In my opinion, I think it's that bad because if people who are supposed to be traveling and a lot of people gathered at one place are sleeping around refuse like that, imagine what will happen if there should be cholera here right now. Some of these issues come about because they don't have access to the washrooms and to the sanitary places that they are supposed to get, and that is what accounts for them going to do other things at places that they are not supposed to. Some of them we saw, let's say, urinating outside of the Hajj village, just right after, outside the fence, which I think is also very bad. It's also adding up to the situation. Others are also taking even their shower right in the middle of the place. I mean, these issues have come about as a result of the authorities unable to probably get the right equipment or probably enough facility to contain these people. So I think human error is in there, but the authority would have to do more. If the authorities are able to provide all these things to them, I think that they will be able to resolve this particular issue.
Government to revoke Section 68 Act 1 of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006 Act 703 and withdraw the mining lease of Noble Gold BBNE Limited. According to them, the company lacks the capacity to run a mine. A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
Members of the community cited Resolute Mining Limited investing $85 million in their operation. They claimed Noble Mineral Resources has gone into voluntary administration after being unable to pay a $4.8 million debt to Rothschild Australia relating to an $85 million financial deal. They again faulted Noble Gold for inability to pay the redundancy package of workers. They cited a writ filed at Accra High Court on 11 September 2013 with a proposal to pay only 6,000 Ghana cedis to each worker, which they claim is inadequate. They have therefore petitioned government to withdraw the mining lease of Noble Gold and give it to a promising investor. Raymond Tetevi is a management accountant at Noble Gold BBNE.
Affect positively the life of the people and the workers. But in our case, unfortunately, at this period when the gold price has gone down and other mining companies are crying because they are being laid off, our story has coincided with such a phenomenon and made it very difficult for people to understand what we are expressing today. We have demonstrated that we are responsible people and we understand the issues at stake.
The district chief executive of BBNE, Ahria Sobekwai, Joe Adansibonda, assured government would look at the petition.
Management agreed to pay a certain percentage to workers it intends to lay off, and the other percentage, according to the MOU, was to be spread over a period of time.
Market women told Joy News the collapse of mining activities has disrupted the once vibrant economy of BBNE.
Free or more, to say no more Jumano, or Mujon first, and I'm from my company for betting about Jumano. I'm an 10, I'm a young Watoyo baby on the Chroma. Says, say you to Adia and talk. You cook a Juma 3 months, must say your mother fear. School fees I intimate ya. Yama school fees I intimate ya. Vivian, Wawian or my ma, a year to the I can say, have I forgot Anima, one company for fun betting I Juma and Nayan Watoyan. Now at Naya Juma.
Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin's report.
The Central Regional House of Chiefs has invited the two royal families at Diaso in the Upper Danger West District of the Central Region who were involved in a gun battle over who should be installed as chief. According to the president of the Central Regional House of Chiefs, Dasebre Kwebu Ewusi, the matter is currently pending before the House of Chiefs, and whoever is found culpable to have flouted the authority of the regional body will not escape the wrath of the House of Chiefs.
Case is pending in this house because it's a chieftaincy matter, and my information is that we've adjourned the case to the 26th of October for hearing. So I know any case that is pending for hearing is under control, we're taken care of. That is why they sent message when they were going to install a chief. I said, no, regional commander, see your people to make sure that there is peace because they can't install a chief. The case is pending here, but I understand they were given I don't know whether, I haven't seen the paper, the court order or whatever. I haven't seen it myself, but that is my information. So I'm here to find out whether they were given order from the court to go and do the installation, whereas the main case is pending here. Or it's really embarrassing. People will be calling you, Nana, what is going on in your region? As if we are relaxed. We always make sure that we tell them to do the right thing. But because the families are not in Capos here, they are somewhere and they want to do whatever they want to do, they don't listen to. And I know we are going to call them because we want to find out whether the installation has been, been in place or whatever it is. And then they will come and then give us the briefing. Yes, for now I'm reserving my comments on that. So I get information whether it's been done, it hasn't been done. Then maybe myself and my standing committee will sit down and then think about what to do. Because if it is real that they did it and disobey our instructions, and I don't think we can let it go.
News Today returns after this. Hello again, you're watching Joy News and this is News Today. Now moving on, investors looking for higher return on their investments could turn to Ghana's securities markets. This is because the country has been ranked #1 with the highest yield on its 91-day and 182-day treasury bills among 12 countries surveyed. Out of the 12 countries surveyed by EcoBank Research, Ghana recorded an interest rate of 21 and 21.34% respectively on its fixed income securities. Malawi and the Gambia followed suit with interest rates of 14.92 and 20.17%, while 14.76 and 16% respectively on a 91-day and 182-day treasury bill. Sierra Leone and South Africa recorded the least rates of 3.36 and 7.05 and 5.05 and 5.31% respectively on their treasury bill rates. Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana is expected to issue a new 7-year bond next month. This underlines the central bank's aim of extending the yield curve to develop the bond market. Interest rates remain high, particularly at the short end of the yield curve at around 22% for the weekly treasury bills. Also, the central bank is projecting inflation within the band of 6 and 10% by the end of March next year. It has already projected 11.5% end-of-year inflation, while government is targeting between 7 and 11% rate. The central bank's latest forecast is based on the exchange rate, energy prices, crude oil assumptions, and the fiscal policy stance. Inflation dropped for the first time this year to a record rate of 11.5% in August. The relative stability of the Ghana cedi to the US dollar appeared to have impacted on the decline of the price levels. This is because the non-food inflation went down from 15.4% in July to 14.2% in August. However, the food inflation went up despite the beginning of the food harvest season. The monthly change for August was negative 0.7%. Now let's go to tourism, and some 33.8 million tourists visited sub-Saharan Africa in 2012. According to a World Bank report on tourism in Africa, income generated from the sector also increased from receipts from hotel tours and other attractions in 2012, amounting to over $36 billion and directly contributing just over 2.8% to the region's GDP.
Between 1980 and 2000, tourist arrivals in the Asia-Pacific grew from 8 to 22%, contributing to economic growth and improved livelihoods. During the same period, Africa's market share for global tourism grew from 3 to 5%. This boost in tourism is occurring just as economic growth is exploding across the African continent. Over the last 5 years, real GDP rose an average 4.9%, faster than the 3% global average. As a result of the recent economic gains in sub-Saharan African countries, global hotel chains are poised to spend hundreds of millions of dollars in Africa over the coming years to meet rising demand from both international tourists and the continent's own fast-growing middle class. Tourism in Africa is the first World Bank report to comprehensively examine tourism throughout the sub-Saharan Africa, and to recommend practical, evidence-based measures to unleash the sector's economic and development power across the continent. It shows how Botswana, Cape Verde, and South Africa, among other countries, have high potential for tourism expansion over the next 5 years, and argues that many sub-Saharan African countries are on the verge of tourism success. The report states Africa has the potential with its cultural and natural resources to outpace other regions in attracting valuable tourism dollars, but entrepreneurs need transparency, roads and electricity to help them build and expand tourist destinations across African countries. To close this gap, the report calls on African governments and the private sector to work together to address obstacles such as land access and visa regulation to expand tourism opportunities, transform business climate, and energize job creation, especially for women and the youth. The report shows how countries that are scaling up tourism need to invest in promotion and marketing, take steps to enhance their image, and provide incentives to investors.
You're still watching news today. Now I have with me in the studio David Odoi Dankwa. He is with Gold Coast Securities. He's going to help us review the Ghana Stock Exchange performance over the month and then an outlook into this new month of October. Thank you very much, David.
Welcome.
It's always a pleasure having you here because I get to learn new stuff.
Okay.
So let's look at performance, retrospective last month.
Last month, as we all witnessed during our midday news, we saw that the stock market was not that stable. We had the market going up, then at times coming down. So investors actually didn't get much. But notwithstanding that, the composite index, which measures the average market performance on the Ghana Stock Exchange, closed the month gaining some points. But the financial, which measures the average financial performance of all the financial market, dropped, meaning the financial stocks didn't perform well in the month of September. Looking forward to October, we don't know how these stocks are going to how the indices are going to perform in the month of October. Comparing, making a year-on-year analysis, you can see this year is still returning very high returns to stakeholders, because when we look at same period 2009, the market was returning negative 39.68, meaning investors were really losing on the Ghana Stock Exchange. 2010, the market recovered with 21.70, meaning investors were getting an average return of 21.70. 2011, it dipped to 7.71. That was the year they introduced the financial index, and the financial index for the first time also coming on the market dipped to 2.78. That is the same period. With 2012, we had a composite 8.12 and we had the financial 2.36. But 2013, though we are saying the market is not really doing well as it started the year, it's still recording 69.29% for the composite and 63.78. Looking at this, you can see the Ghana stock market is still the best alternative financial market in the country, because I heard one of the news talking about the T-bill being around 21 as compared to 69. You can see it's about 3 times of the money market. So you can see the Ghana Stock Exchange or the Ghana stock market is really doing well, and even the government has hinted that fixed deposit rates or fixed income rates are going to drop gradually, because looking at the gap between our inflation and our fixed deposit rate, or the average fixed deposit rate, is too much, and people have been complaining and questioning why is the government not reducing it, and the government has hinted that it's going to reduce the fixed deposit rate on for the T-bill, and in doing that, it means a lot of investment who went onto the money market because of the returns there are now going to switch, because fixed money market, we are anticipating, Gold Coast Research, we are anticipating the market will drop to maybe a year low of about 15%. That is what we are anticipating the fixed deposit market will close with. And looking at that, then it means it wouldn't be that much profitable if you really want to invest for the long term. So then we have a lot of investors coming onto the Ghana Stock Exchange. Let me also look at the stocks that traded. We had
stocks that traded this week, or
no? I'm talking.
I'm still
over talking. Last month. I just want to give the stock that returned. We had PZ returning 54.24% for the month. That it meaning if somebody put money in PZ at the beginning of the month,
1,000 in
1,000, then you by the close of September 54%. So then you're getting around 1,500 and something Ghana cedis.
That's good cash.
Yeah, that is good cash. That is the average returns that you could have just earned, but you didn't know whether the stock was going to do well or not. So then that was the risk that you were taking, and that would have yielded a very good returns for you. We also had SPL, that is a Starwin Group, also averaging 25.00, and we have Aluwex also returning 20%. On the loser side, we had stocks like Arten losing, we have BOPP, we have CAR, we have EBJ, GCB, PBC, SGSSB, Total, and UTB losing. In fact, it was UTB that lost. No, PBC, Produce Buying Company, that lost much for the month of September.
I see. Let's look at. I want us to look at the outlook for this month of October, but we've already had quite a week already. Let's tackle the week, and then we'll look at outlook for the rest of October. So what was performance like this week?
The market is still being unstable, because we had Monday the market picking up, going down on Tuesday, picking up on Wednesday, then going down again. So then the market is still unstable. And looking at let me tie this with the outlook for October. So looking at the market being unstable, though the market still has a lot of potential, because looking at the fixed deposit returns going to drop drastically, meaning the alternative market to invest, if you really want the higher returns, looking at the risk attached to it too, then it would be the stock market. But we are also looking that in every last quarter of the year, we have a lot of pressure on the financial markets, and the Ghana stock market will not be an exception. So October,
what contributes to that pressure in the last quarter?
Should I say Ghanaians, or is worldwide? You know, when getting to the last quarter, everybody wants to buy a new thing. They are having parties here and there, festivities. So then they really want a lot of money. And people invested at the beginning of the year looking forward to recoup their interest for all these stuff. And some people actually put money aside just for these purposes. So then the stock market will also suffer a bit. The money market will equally suffer. So when these things comes onto the market, then it means the market is going to continue with this unstable trend, because as investors are redeeming their money at a very early stage, then it means the market is not going to be that very active, and is going to continue with this undulating nature. So then that is how we are looking forward, but the market still has a lot of potential to return to investors.
I just wanted us to rope this in. You know, Twitter is launching on the stock markets, and it will be the second after Facebook. And I'm wondering, you think our market is ready for virtual businesses?
The market is ready for every kind of business. The stock market is really ready for every kind of business, and I think the Ghana Stock Exchange is really doing a lot to encourage all sort of business, or all kind of business, to list their stocks on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So the Ghana Stock Exchange is ready for all kind of business.
But do we have those virtual businesses who could, you know, are showing promising signs and could list on the stock exchange? We
don't really have much in Ghana. Looking for the main stock market, we don't really. I can't really see much.
And that's surprising, considering we sign on to Facebook so much, and we can't make for ourselves any virtual business that could blow up and then be on the stock exchange.
The Ghanaian economy is still growing, so maybe we are not yet there. But looking at the alternative stock market, market. No, the Ghana Stock Exchange has introduced an alternative market that companies that are growing are now, picking up the economy can also, invest on. So looking at that market, I think we have quite a number on the Ghanaian market that can list on there. But the main one, maybe you have to really do a lot of feasibility studies before I can just conclude on that.
Fantastic talking to you again. Hopefully next week would have more promising stories for the month of October and beyond. David Odoik Dankwa is with GoCo Securities. We have been talking the stock market, so if you want anything on the stock market, you know where to go to. You're watching News Today. When I return, we'll do some more stories. Welcome back. So social networking company Twitter has said it plans to raise $1 billion in the stock market's debut in documents filed with the U.S. regulators. In the filing revealed on Thursday, the 7-year-old company said that it now has 218 million monthly users and that 500 million tweets are sent a day. It's made a loss of $69 million in the first 6 months of 2013. On revenues of $254 million. It will be the largest Silicon Valley stock offering since Facebook's listing in 2012. Analysts said that the offering was likely to get a good response. Sports is next and is brought to you by Tigo. You're welcome to the sports segment. Let's quickly start with the Globe Premier League fixtures. Bechem United will go against Hearts of Oak and Inter Allies will go against Kotoko. Asakers will take on Edubiase FC while Brekum Chelsea will lock horns with the Diana Stars. Hearts of Lions will then take on Dwarfs while Liberty Professionals will take Midiama SC. Ash Gold will go on with Amidal's Professionals and Faisal will take on Wa All Stars. Away from that, let's check the European League fixtures. So these are the EPL fixtures, and I'll quickly go through them with you. Manchester City will take on Everton. Cardiff City will take on Newcastle United. Fulham and then Stoke City will also face each other. Hull City and Aston Villa would also lock horns. Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. Sunderland will take on Manchester United. Norwich City will take on Chelsea. Southampton will take on Swansea City. Tottenham Hotspur will take on West Ham United. And the Albions will take on Arsenal. Yes, and now let's go on with the Bundesliga. Hannover 96 will take on Hertha Berlin. Borussia will take on Borussia Dortmund. Mainz will take on TSG Hoffenheim. Schalke 04 will take on FC Augsburg. VfB Stuttgart will take on Werder Bremen. VfL Wolfsburg will take on TSV Brunch. And Bayern Leverkusen will take on Bayern Munich. Nuremberg will take on Hamburg SV. SC Freiburg will take on Frankfurt. So the Spanish League La Liga is next, and Villarreal will take on Granada. Malaga will take on Osasuna. Elche will take on Espanyol. Rayo Vallecano will take on Real Sociedad. Levante will take on Real Madrid. Barcelona will take on Real Valladolid. Atletico Madrid will take on Celta Vigo. Sevilla FC will take on Almeria. Getafe will take on Real Betis, and Atletico Bilbao will take on Valencia. And then we have the French League fixtures. We call it Ligue 1. Ligue 1. Yeah, and Bastia will take on Lorient. AS Monaco will take on Saint-Etienne. Guingamp will take on Stade Reims, and Lille will take on AC Ajaccio, and the rest. Thanks for your attention on the sports segment. Let's now get some international news on the boat accident near the Italian island of Lampedusa that resulted in what is feared to be more than 300 deaths is part of a broader problem involving African migrants who risk dangerous voyages to seek a better life. At least 113 bodies have now been recovered, and some 200 of those on board the 20-meter fishing boat are still unaccounted for.
Dozens of bodies are thought to remain in the sunken vessel, according to rescue officials. More than 150 people were rescued. Most of those on board were from Eritrea and Somalia. A spokesperson for the International Organization for Migration, Jumbi Omari Jumbi, says there are 4 gates used by Africans who are trying to escape their homelands or the continent. The United Nations Refugee Agency says the Mediterranean has some of the world's busiest sea crossings and is a dangerous frontier for migrants and asylum seekers. Pope Francis sent a Twitter message calling for prayers for the victims of the tragic shipwreck of Lampedusa. In July, he visited the island and condemned the global indifference to the plight of migrants trying to arrive there. In a statement, UN High Commissioner for Refugees Antonio Guterres commended the swift action taken by the Italian Coast Guard to save lives. Guterres also expressed dismay at the rising global phenomenon of migrants and people fleeing conflict or persecution and perishing at sea. The UN said that in recent months, most migrants attempting the crossing were fleeing the conflict in Syria and in the Horn of Africa, rather than coming from sub-Saharan Africa. The number of those arriving by sea to Italy this year until 30th September stood at 30,100, according to the UN. The main nationalities of those arriving were Syrians, Eritreans, and Somalians.
Now, a delegation from the UN Security Council is heading to Africa to visit the volatile Great Lakes region and discuss implementation of the Peace, Security and Cooperation Framework Agreement signed in February, aimed at stabilizing the region. The UN Security Council delegation leaves Thursday on a trip that will take them to the DRC, Rwanda, Uganda and Ethiopia. Their first stop is the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the ambassadors will meet in Kinshasa with President Joseph Kabila. Then they will travel to Goma, eastern part of the country, not far from where the Congolese army has clashed repeatedly with rebel group M23. The UN has about 20,000 peacekeepers in Congo, including a new element called an intervention brigade. Now, this brigade consists of 2,500 special offensive forces tasked with eliminating the threat from rebel groups which terrorize civilians in that part of the country. In neighboring Nigeria, the rights group Amnesty International says the killings of school children in the country show an absolute disregard for the right to life and education. In a report, it says hundreds have been killed in attacks by militants and thousands have been forced from school. On Sunday, up to 50 students died when militants attacked an agricultural college in northern Nigeria. The militant group Boko Haram, which means Western education is forbidden, has targeted many schools recently. Right, in Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Iranians deserve better than their current government and that their lives could get worse if it gains nuclear weapons. Benjamin Netanyahu also said the new President Hassan Rouhani could not change the real decisions made by the supreme leader.
Iran's spiritual leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and President Rouhani have said they reject nuclear weapons. They insist Iran's nuclear program is solely for peaceful purposes, but world powers suspect they are not being truthful. There has nevertheless been a recent thaw in relations between Iran and the U.S., with Rouhani and President Barack Obama recently discussing the issue, the first top-level conversation between the two countries for more than 30 years. Benjamin Netanyahu said people, himself included, wanted to see a diplomatic solution to end Iran's quest for nuclear weapons.
That's it for the segment. Let's now do some showbiz news, and let me tell you a bit what has been trending in the music industry here in Ghana. Adam has released his much talked about video clip of his track Latex, which features Kaki, and it looks like this time he made up for all the fluke he had to take for his previous videos Over Again and Heba. Here's an excerpt of a video, and it is the first time airplay.
Latex before you make a fall.
Kaki, give me latex before you make a fall.
Adam, give me latex before you make a fall.
Kaki, give me latex.
We have been knocking.
The music video for Latex, which features the dancehall queen Kaki, received its first airplay right here on Joy News on Multi TV. Ever since he released the single track a couple of months ago, it has been rated as one of his best tracks so far. And now that the video, which was shot somewhere in Axim in the western region of Ghana, is out, will same be said of it? You be the judge.
For my arms until our wedding day. After the knocking, the poppy, I'll take you away.
I think they look good together, but let's move away from them. And a young artist from Nigeria, Sample Star, who it has been speculated that he is imitating his counterpart Wizkid's Dio, says his style is authentic and does not derive any inspiration from the African star boy.
Baby girl, come to my side. Let me tell you what I got for you. I touch your back, twist for me.
Oh no. Really, I want to say this right now. No, they keep saying in Ghana like, did you copy Wizkid? Do you copy Wizkid? And I don't copy him. That's why I just dropped another track to just differentiate it. I don't copy I'm myself. I copy nobody. I can be Wizkid. It can be me. So I just do my things my way. I like the girl. I got the inspiration from Nigeria. I was hanging out with my friends. So it's my friends. So we're like playing. The girl just passed by. Like, Sample, look at this girl. I said, which girl? See this girl. Did you like her? The guy said, yeah, she's beautiful. So the next day the guy called me. Sample, let's go to where we went yesterday. Maybe we could see that girl. I was like, oh, Charlie, you like the girl? He said, yeah. So I just like, let me do something. I was like, I like the girl.
I agree with Sample staff. To start with, they look nothing alike. But so let's look at our headlines again. Research by the Water Research Institute of the CSIR reveals the harmful chemicals found in plastic and the indiscriminate banning of e-waste contaminates breast milk. Ghana ranked #1 with the highest yield on its 91 and 182-day treasury bills among 12 countries surveyed. 130 bodies have been recovered after a boat accident near the Italian island Lampedusa. Authorities fear the death toll could be more than 300 as over 200 persons still missing. I'm grateful for your company. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Many thanks for staying. My name is Kemini Nyamani Amano. Have a great weekend.